Trump supporters are escalating their retaliation against individuals linked to the hush money trial, with increasing threats directed at jurors and judicial figures. Now the Trump loyalists are demonstrating the extreme measures they are willing to take to retaliate against the whistleblowers who revealed Trump's involvement in the hush money scheme. Before we get into that, I want to acknowledge and thank individuals and organizations like Advanced Democracy for working diligently to expose the fervent Trump supporters and their dangerous actions. So let's talk about the awesome work being done by Advanced Democracy, a nonprofit research group that's all about protecting our democracy. In the wake of Donald Trump's hush money conviction, their efforts have been increasingly critical as they have raised some serious red flags about the increase in online posts with violent threats aimed at people involved in the trial, like Judge Juan Merchan and District Attorney Alvin Bragg in New York. It's pretty concerning when you see that kind of stuff floating around. And get this, they found some posts sharing personal details like addresses of the trial jurors on this fringe website that's known for its strong pro-Trump stance. Doxing can put people's safety at risk. Daniel Jones, who heads up Advanced Democracy, made it clear that they're keeping a close eye on these kinds of threats online. Just last week, they uncovered more of this doxing activity on a site called The Donald, where some dangerous plans were being cooked up. This is the same site Trump supporters used to organize violence ahead of the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. It's pretty scary to see how far some people are willing to go to intimidate others, especially those involved in important legal proceedings. Now let's talk Michael Cohen, the man who went from Trump's right-hand guy to a whistleblower shaking the very foundations of power. Picture this, a man standing alone facing the might of the Trump empire with nothing but the truth on his side. That kind of courage is rare, folks. But oh, the backlash he is facing is swift, relentless, and downright nasty. And just when you thought the tale couldn't get any wilder, here's where things take a dark turn. Trump's loyal army, blind to reason, launched a campaign of intimidation and fear against Cohen and his family. Can you believe it? These folks would do anything to protect their dear leader. This time, they've taken it too far. Michael Cohen revealed that his family faced doxing after Trump was found guilty on all 34 felony counts in the case. Following the groundbreaking conviction on Thursday, not only is he facing the fallout from his actions, but his family is too. Phone numbers and addresses of Cohen's wife and children were plastered all over the internet. Listen as Cohen tells us how crazy MAGA has made his life since his testimony and Trump's conviction. He also sends out a piece of advice for jurors who are facing the same types of threats.
You were doxxed. Your family was doxxed after the verdict. The phone numbers of yourself, your wife, your children were posted early Monday morning on a site that's been used to target other figures involved in Trump's various legal issues, according to the group Advanced Democracy, which is a nonprofit research group. We know they're trying to dox the jurors, too. Talk about that experience, and do you feel safe and are you protected?
Well, look, I don't want to get into whether I have protection or not, obviously, to give some of these maniacs an opportunity within which to come at me. But yes, we have been receiving unwanted phone calls and emails and text messages, including last night around 11 p.m. The doorbell rang, which, of course, is somewhat unsettling. It was actually the concierge in our building saying that there's a Domino's pizza that was delivered to you. And I didn't even know that Domino's was in New York City, to be honest with you. And they had it, unfortunately, under my son's name. So this is sort of the behavior that we are contending with simply because I testified and they're unhappy. When I say they, I'm talking about MAGA is unhappy with the results.
Yeah. And what advice would you have for these jurors? Because I think all of us in the media are as curious as people are as to who these jurors are. It seems the best advice would be for them to remain anonymous, probably permanently.
Yes, agreed. But what they should also do is what I did. I contacted my local police department to let them know that this is happening. I filed filing a police report on that, in which case they will now have that information readily available in the event that a situation arises.
I mean, putting his personal info, his family's details all over the internet to go after not just a man, but his loved ones in such a cowardly manner is beyond comprehension. Michael Cohen dared to speak truth to power, even in the face of such vicious attacks. In response to this doxing incident, Cohen said, quote, What sad times we are living through when people resort to this type of doxing stupidity to redress their grievances. Daniel Jones also added to the conversation saying, quote, the individual who shared the information online on a site known for doxing likely had an intent to harm Cohen, providing these personal details on the Cohen family in the context of calling Cohen a lying bastard and identifying him as someone who betrayed Trump, presumably for testifying for the prosecution in former President Trump's New York criminal trial. I don't know about you, but this kind of behavior sickens me to my core. Doxing is a serious invasion of privacy and is a nasty way to intimidate and harass people. No one should have to go through something like that, especially not for taking the stand and telling the truth or just doing the job of a juror. This whole situation with Michael Cohen and his family shows just how damaging doxing can be. It doesn't just affect the person targeted. It spreads fear and insecurity to everyone around them. Instead of spreading fear and putting people at risk, how about Trump supporters shift their focus to holding Trump accountable and respecting the verdict? I get it, emotions are running high, but targeting innocent individuals with doxing is never the answer. It only adds more chaos to an already chaotic situation.